One more. Very quick. Don't rage quit. I'm telling you. I just finished my session out here, man. Thought I would take this time to talk about Satanism, suicide, sacrifice, destruction of holy life. Wow. Yeah, I should not be allowed to ever record myself. So anyway, Satanism. On my podcast, I'm going to be talking to someone who's written about this, Joseph Laycock. That's probably coming up. I thought it'd be around this time, but for various reasons I couldn't get to it and had to put off some of that consciousness live stuff till the next season. So that's coming up. But I thought I'd talk about my personal thoughts on Satanism and so forth. So a little bit of autobiographical background. Probably if you've paid attention to what I do, my channel, you may have seen, some autobiographical details about me floating around. I'm waiting to turn on this very busy intersection right here. I'd hate to get into an accident while talking about Satanism. I'm not a Satanist. Just to be clear, I'm not a Satanist. And, I'm agnostic. So my official position is that we don't know if there's a creator. So I'd be an atheist about like the Christian God. But I'm agnostic about the more general question of theism. Is there a creator of our universe that set everything in motion, a first cause, all that sort of stuff. So I'm agnostic on that question. So anyway, I was raised in a very religious household when I was a kid. My mom was a seeker of the spiritual. And we really conflicted because I was in love with the sciences, even from an early age. And we would always argue about, she would tell me about all these supernatural beings and causes and, the car won't start because Satan's trying to stop us from going to the meeting, or this happened because God put this in our path, or blah, blah, blah. So I always found that very implausible. And from the very beginning, when I was introduced to the concept of the Christian God, I was very skeptical. I was like, this doesn't describe a coherent being. The psychology that's being described is not rational. Now, I know that the issues here are complicated, and someone could say, well, what is rationality? And if God's the standard of rationality, then of course that's like saying the 1 meter bar isn't 1 meter. It's like, what's the standard? If it is the standard, then other things get measured against it. So, and I'm using that monotonous tone of voice because I know the arguments here, but I don't find them convincing. So when I was, my mom was forcing me to be baptized, saying, if you're going to live here, you're going to be, join this religion. And I was like, fuck no. So I ran away from home, and I got in trouble. I got arrested. I was in group homes. I discovered death metal. I learned about Slayer, and I, through the grapevine of being in juvenile hall and group homes, I found out about the Satanic Bible, written by Anton LaVey. And I read it. It wasn't in our library at school. I had to run away from the group home, go to the public library, and find a copy of it. But I did find a copy of it, and I did read it. And, I wasn't very impressed. It was not impressive. I was a teenager, and I wasn't very sophisticated, but I knew that this wasn't very sophisticated. The Satanic Bible was a lot of like, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, and all of that kind of stuff. And there were parts of it that resonated with me, like don't put shame on our animal nature, and the whole idea that we are animals on the planet like other animals, and that religion tries to criminalize or demonize our actual real natures, our animal natures, which I found out later are very Nietzsche-inspired ideas. Ayn Rand's in there as well, and it didn't resonate with me. My immediate thought at the time was, this is great, unless you're a serial killer, and then do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law is like fucked up, because I don't want serial killers to do what they wilt. Like, no. Now you can make arguments and so on, but I wasn't with it. I like the imagery of Satanism, the rebelliousness of it, but they don't worship the devil. They're basically atheists. I was never attracted to the kind of theological Satanism, which was really embraced like evil. Torture, murder, sadism, all of those things seem to me to be obviously objectively wrong. And someone who glorifies them and wants the world to be like that is not welcome in any place that I recognize as a place that I want to help build or be a part of. So the younger self of me rejected Satanism. And then I found out about the Satanic Temple. The Satanic Temple is not the Church of Satan. It's a different entity, and I didn't really understand that till recently. So the Satanic Temple, again, they're atheists. So they don't worship Satan in that sense. They don't think of Satan as a person who gets worshipped. Rather, they see it as a symbol of rebellion, of rejecting traditional Christian values and ways of conceptualizing the world. And that doesn't mean that they reject morality. In fact, I would say that that morality does not require a supernatural source. Reason is enough for us to figure out the way things work, including the way things morally work. So we don't need anything other than that. We can improve our rational capabilities, I certainly would say, thereby improving our moral capabilities. But that's a different issue. Yeah, great. So is it just shock value? Is that really all that it is? Is it just atheism for assholes, as I've sometimes joked? Is it just like traditional atheism, humanism, but then you're like, no, I'm a Satanist, which means like, ah. So is it just like the emotive theory of atheism? Atheism. Satan! Drop to hell, wrath of God, Satan, suicide, sacrifice, in my life, I must die. Come on, everyone, sing along. I'm not a Satanist.